Derpy, and I am here to finally start my mid-year binder tour. It got delayed for several reasons. The last thing I needed to take care of was to get some supplies because I had run out of them during my last storing video, but it's all good now. So let us go ahead and start because it's going to be a long video. I have a lot of binders, but this one is a Mute Cafe binder. It's the only one that I have, but it's basically just for kind of like odd sized cards and inclusions that don't fit in anything else. So it mainly has my NiziU collection for their older releases because they were in these kind of weirdly weirdly sized cards, and I am OT9 for NiziU. They are definitely one of my old groups. Last year I made it my goal to finish the Step by a Step, which is their debut single, the collections for those. So I have that, which is what these first 3 pages are. And this year I do need to work on it a bit more, but Take a Picture, their second single, I need to work on. I don't have too many that I need to get for them, but yeah, I need to get myself back into actually working on this so I can get it finished, especially since most of these, as you can see, I'm only like a couple cards off. And then we have their first album, which is definitely going to be a longer thing because album cards are just more difficult to like hunt down. Clap, clap. Blue Moon. I need to hunt down this Maya, so then I'll at least have a page done. All right, and then Paradise, which needs so much work. Though I do have all the Nina. She is my bias, so I always made sure to get her cards. Then we have RIIZE Up. And then I think this is, yeah, Awake, which is the last release that they did these kind of size cards with. They have since moved to more standard photo card sizes, thank goodness. So yes, this is just a back collection that I will be slowly working on over time. And then this page is just because all I was collecting is the regular versions, but they also have the With You, which is the versions that you get through their With You is the name of the fandom, so it's their fan club versions. Since I buy things in sets, I have ended up with a couple of With You cards and figure I might as well just keep them. So that's what this page basically is. And then they have some larger inclusions that were not fitting in any of the standard sizes very well, so I brought them here. Hopefully, I know it's kind of hard to see on this side. Hopefully this works though. But this is from their Korean debut. Press play, and the larger inclusions I have picked up for that. Let me see if I can make it a little easier. Some of them are trying to escape. But yeah, it's something that I would like to have OT9 for eventually, but I'm not too worried about it. If it happens, it happens. But yes. And then I have just some extra pages until we get into some J-pop. I bought this set of Oda Sakura, her I needed one of her early photo cards. I could only find it in this bigger set, and it had these. I've never had these before, which are these kind of large mini poster size. I want to say photos, but it came with those, so in duplicates of one of them. They of course don't really fit in anything, but they fit very well in the back here, so that is where they live. So that is this binder. So outside of the NiziU, it'll just, I guess, slowly take on other collections that are also just kind of really awkwardly sized and don't really fit any of the 9 pocket page binders that I have. So with this now done, let us start moving on to those. And we'll start with my miscellaneous JYPE binder. All right, this is my miscellaneous JYPE binder. So Wonder Girls was long before trading cards were a thing, though they did have a postcard set for their Wonder World release. So that's what I have for them in here. Then we have my 2 p.m. Section, which I do need to work a little bit more on. It's just, I've been working on like everything else before them. But I do have everything for Misc since I was collecting 3 members, because it was just not gonna happen for all 6. So yeah, Junkei, Nikkun, and Uyang were the 3 that I decided to go ahead and collect. I decided to also do 1 full page of the units. So these aren't all the units, they're just the ones that I collected. I do need to go back and get the last 2 for these, which are just stickers that come with one of their singles where they had like member versions. I would like the rest of those. We have some larger inclusions, and then some miscellaneous sets. Right now, these are the 3 that are still under JYPE as their agency, even though, you know, they are, the other 3 do come to work as 2 p.m. For things like this year they were celebrating their 15th anniversary from their Japanese debut. So yes. But yeah, that was a release that they did for the Japanese JYPE store, where they had like, I guess, a group, but since again they only had the 3 members in the agency, they were the only ones in that set. Junkei is my bias, so I have some of his solo cards and just random cards. This page is meant to be random cards of the rest of the members. I just only have this Nick-kun at the moment, but that is something I would like to eventually kind of grow a little bit more. But yeah, I'm in no rush, and I know eventually I'll get to the point where it's like, oh, I just need to get something for 2 p.m. and then that will grow. But right now I'm quite happy with where it kind of stands. I do have a small Xdinary Heroes collection. I collect mostly like just kind of random Gunil photo cards, which is what these are. I have a full page, which was kind of like my goal is to have 1 full page for everything up to troubleshooting. And then for troubleshooting, I loved the album, so I kind of went all out for me for when it comes to Xdinary Heroes. I got all the members like these cards for them, and I happened at my local K-pop store, there happened to be somebody who was a massive Xdinary Heroes fan, and they had a whole bunch of extras for all the members, so I was able to get like most of the Live and Fall like regular album photo cards of Gunil, which is why I have this. And I have been thinking of adding a page and kind of doing what I did at the start and just have everything past Live and Fall and just create a page of Gunil and continue on that way. I think that's what I've decided finally to do for Xdinary Heroes, because I am more kind of a casual listener for them. I do have some group photo cards, so they just kind of live on their own page back here. And then for the few larger inclusions that I have, they are back here. And then we have my kickflip section, which they're probably the next group that are going to be moving into their own binder, but that can, I think I could give them at least maybe 1 more comeback before I have to actually start doing that. But I started off just collecting Amaru since he is my bias. Unfortunately, he is currently on hiatus. Still don't know when he's coming back, but I will wait for as long as I need to for that return. Since I knew that they were going to continue releasing things without him, with how long it's gone on, I decided to pick up also collecting my second bias, which is Donghyun. So I have, yes, for their debut Flip It, Kick It, I do have all of that collected for the both of them now. For their first comeback, I am still working on getting all the Donghyun for it. I'm only missing a few cards at this point, so I don't feel too bad about it. You know, it's like there's progress being made, obviously. And then, of course, have the OT7 sets. I've started collecting these as OT7 for each release. You know, as long as they keep this up, I will be collecting them all. Yes. And then my first flip is a work in progress for both Amaru and Donghyun. Hopefully I could get everything up to this release, you know, completed by the end of the year. That is the goal. Also with this release, we had these polka albums that came with so many cards for the members. So what I decided to do was Amaru gets his own spread and the other 6 get these 2-page spreads. Which I think worked very well. I really like doing those when it comes to, like, especially 6-member groups, but I will do them for 5-member groups too. I am still missing a couple of these. Gihun. I ordered it for someone on Makara US. At this point, I think it's lost. I did pick up the Keiju and that should be coming in. So I'll just need to get his. And then this is their latest comeback. So I thought I'd be fine with just Donghyun, but then they decided, like, oh, we're only gonna have like 5 cards per member. It's like, oh, well, then they'll like leave a whole bunch of like empty space. So what I decided to do was that I'll pick up, I finally settled on who I currently consider my 3rd favorite member, which is Donghua. And I figure I'll just pick like 4 of them up because the 5th one is the camera card, which is so hard to find. It's hard to find, and I have yet to find it where it's Donghyun's version. I pulled Juwon. I'm open for trades. If anyone knows someone who needs a Juwon and has a Donghyun, please let me know. But I'm not going to stress about finding it. I'll just keep looking for it, and hopefully one day I will find it. But I do want to get Donghyun, so that way that will make the 9 pocket page, and I'm not going to get his camera card. It's only Donghyun that I'll get that. So that will fill a page up perfectly. Yes, and working on, of course, collecting this, the typical, well, it's OT6 now, since we're waiting for that 7th member to return. So I only just need 2 more. I did complete this set. This is the first press cards for the Digipacks. I just thought they were super cute. Plus I pulled the Kihon in the Keiju, and they tend to be the pricier members. So it's like, well, since I got them, you know, I might as well get the rest. And I'm glad that I did. It is a cute set. And this is all miscellaneous unit and group cards. And then I do have non-album Amaru cards back here. I do want to at least finish up the page, so that way, you know, I'm still getting something Amaru even while he's still on his hiatus. I miss him a lot. For larger inclusions, for the most part, I just keep whatever I get, though if I can pick up the ones that have my biases in them, or the ones that I collect the photo cards for, I will definitely do that. So yes, but other than that, I just keep whoever I pull. Because I do love the group and all the members. And I have this little mini poster for Amaru. And that ends Kickflip. And this section is supposed to be girl set, but they do not have trading cards yet, but I'll still keep it in the hope that one day there will be trading cards for them. And then in the very back, these are the JYPE Japan online store thank you cards that you get when you purchase. Unfortunately, I do find that Nyokyo is kind of hit or miss of whether or not they include these, or else I would have more, but I am kind of happy with the ones that I have. So that is all that kind of lives back there. And that is the miscellaneous JYPE binder. Outside of kickflip, a lot of this is pretty slow growing. Yeah, I think I actually might be good for a couple more comebacks for kickflip before I need to move them. Thank goodness. I have way too many other groups that I need to worry about getting binders for. With that, let's go ahead and move on to the JYPE groups that do have their own binders. I'm doing it in like debut order, so we are starting with Twice. And we start off with my first Twice binder. As you can see, I have it set for nylon. I do need to work on the back because this I want to be collage for all the members, but the front collage will be like member dedicated to one member each. And of course, being the first, we get nylon because that is how things are officially more or less kind of set when they list members. And when I got into Twice, I just kind of fell into that. So that is that. My bias for Twice is Mina, so I have her collected 100% because of how just these early releases are. I only have her for these, except for I did do OT9 for this set. Though I have been thinking of maybe, since I believe these are the POBs, maybe kind of like removing these and doing like top 3. It's something I've been thinking about. It'll be a while before I decide. I mean, I'm very happy where I am with Twice. I'm not sure if I really do want to go back and do something like that or not. I mean, with this binder, I am basically done. So yes, I do. My top 3 are Mina, Jihyo, and Chewy. So I also did select OT9 because that's just, I don't know, I found it like the most fun, and I do like the whole group. So that kind of means that I got to balance, you know, doing both, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, some of these where I have the POBs, I have been thinking if there's a way that I could adjust and move these, since I do have like a POB binder for Twice. Like maybe collect this OT9, but you know, it's not anything I have quite decided on quite yet, and it'll probably be a while before I make that final decision. But there are these thoughts, but until I've actually decided on any of this, what you're seeing here is basically what it's going to be for this binder. Because this is like the first binder that I can say is retired, just because there is nothing to add unless I decide to like do some like unless I decide to kind of change up the collection and do some other like OT9 or top 3, mostly to deal with like the pobs that are in here and to like remove them. But until I decide what I'm doing with those, this is set. That's what I wanted to say. But yeah, I am 100% done with back collecting for twice, which is why these binder tours are basically the only time you're going to see this binder for twice, since there's, again, currently nothing to work on for it. Again, like I mentioned, that may change since there are a couple things that I am thinking about doing for the collection, but until I decide on it, it is what it is. But yeah, had a lot of fun collecting for this. I mean, that's like the great thing about Twice, is that it's usually pretty easy to collect for them as long as you're sticking to the album cards like I have, and you're not doing like special editions and stuff. And they really had some really pretty cards, so very, very happy to have them as a part of my collection. All right, so I officially became a Twice fan with Formula of Love. So this is the only release that I went full OT9 for everything for. Kind of to mark it off as that, you know, something special. And then, so I have the target cards up here just to kind of help fill in the page. Then the OT9 sets for between 1 and 2. I am kind of rethinking about the target cards here for like Chui and Jiko. Since I have their message cards, so I might be changing that up and like instead have their message cards. And then I'll just switch the target with the message card. Yes, that is something I am thinking of. And that is probably the most likely change that's going to happen to this binder between now and when I bring it back up for the end of year flip through. But of course, like I mentioned, I already have those cards, so that's probably going to happen off screen. But yes, this is what I have for my first Twice binder. I have also a couple ideas, like I mentioned, but it's going to stay pretty static. That said, let us move on to the second Twice binder, which is the one that has the newer releases, thus a little bit more going on with it. All right, so this is the second Twice binder. Still working on the collage, but that's okay because everything inside here is also a work in progress. So we continue on the collection. For the album, and of course this is when they start doing polkas, so I have the OT9 sets for those in here as well. And I'm very happy that I finally have this complete. I swear this one card was such a pain to find for This Is For, but that's because I waited for as long as I did. If I got it much earlier on, it would have not have been as much of a hassle. But I'm very happy to have This Is For complete. So now we just have the story goes on. Very grateful I've at least finished one page. Still need to work on this other page. I know I have the Polaroid should be on the way. I just need to get these versions for Mina and Chewy, and of course that last Chewy album card. So I'm not too worried. I'm pretty sure I will finish this up before the next Twice release. Right now, I just want them to rest. They've been on tour for so long that they're definitely deserving of taking a nice long break before another release. I do have this memo on the way that will finish up this OT9 page, which I more tried to have everything on the set, but if I just happen to have an extra card and it wasn't in the set of a member, then I just kept it anyway. Which is why not all of them match, but most of them do. But yes, that should be done with my next Neokyo haul. Then we have my Mina miscellaneous section. These are exclusive. This is the special, I forget, I want to say it's the file version for Formula of Love, where I decided to just keep the Mina. Everything else I think is either a store exclusive or a POB. These are non-album cards outside of this message card. This is the message card with the back torn. I decided to throw it on that page. These are Japanese cards, which I do want to collect more of. And these are just other miscellaneous. Like this is Season's Greetings. This is Light Stick. And I happen to have a random Mina postcard, so it got to live back here. Then I have miscellaneous OT9, non-album. Before we go into miscellaneous group and units. So I've decided to, because not all of the groups and unit cards face the same way, I've decided to organize them by what direction the card is facing. These are for the vertical cards. Then we have all the cards that face this way. Which is the majority of them. But then we have these that are facing this way. And as you can see, if I had them mixed in, it would just drive me nuts having them like mostly face one way and then randomly have these. So instead, they live on another page. And these are the Japanese group cards, and as you can see, they all kind of face this way anyway, so they all work very well on their own page. And then we have the units. For the most part, I don't hunt down the units, which is why this is not complete. But if I get a unit card, I'm going to keep a unit card. So that's kind of what those pages signify. I did collect all the units for Ready to Be, so that's what this page is. And then we have solos and unit releases. So for Nyan's 2 solo releases, I have 1 page, photo cards. For Jiho, I did 1 full page for her solo. For Misimo, I finally have done some work, as you can see, because it's not just this Mina anymore. I do want to at least get 1 set for the unit for each release, which, you know, Haute Couture, I do have that done now. I do have the Sana and the Momo coming for play. I just now need to hunt down, hopefully, matching cards for this Mina for Sana and Momo for Masterpiece, and then I can have this page done. And then this is going to be the group unit page for Misimo. I do have the 3rd unit showing up, which is the Sana Momo, and it'll also come with a group card, so that's perfect. I definitely would like to expand even more with Misimo because I love them, but for now, that is the goal. To at least get the basics, so it doesn't look as sad compared to like the solos, which were a lot easier to collect because they had also US releases. So I did a page for Chewy, and then I have my little cheat page for the cards for solo releases that I just wanted to keep because I like them, but they don't fit on the pages I have for them. So that is what this page is. And that comes to the end of the 2nd binder, which thankfully I think is good for a few more releases before I have to worry about moving on or figuring out what I'm actually going to be doing for the 3rd. Yay. Speaking of which, I do have 2 more twice binders. So let us move on to what I'm now currently considering my 3rd. All right, so this is what is currently my 3rd twice binder. It will shift down as need be, as right now this one is just holding all the POBs. So these are random POBs that I have that I decided to just kind of keep on the page because I wasn't quite sure what else to do. It is something that I would like to get full OT9 sets for all of them, but I don't. I do have some top 3 sets though, which I have in here. But yeah, I saw other collectors who collect twice kind of moving them on to their own binder, and I did like how that looked because it makes the other binders look a little bit more cohesive, because these POBs, they are completely different size. These are also the POBs that you get by just buying the first press release of these albums. This is the start of the OT9 sets that I have. Which, for the most part, kind of picks up with Formula of Love, because between 1 and 2 onward, I was buying these in stores in the US. So I was getting the full sets when I did so, because the US releases, they will have these included, as they really only get like the first press release and that's it. But yeah, ends with the story goes on, and will probably not really grow until they have a new release and I have a new set or new sets to add. Again, I kind of would like to go back for some of these older releases, but I'm not really sure how I would do so. Or how I would want to. So instead, they just kind of, they'll just live in here until I make that decision. So then, like I said, 4 binders, so there's one more. So let us move on to that. Okay, 4th binder, which is larger inclusions. It's a bit of a mess, and one day I swear I will come in and fix it. I also have an extra page in here. But until then, it will remain its messy self. But yes, for the most part, I just keep whatever I get. And of course, I will hunt down Mina's because she is the bias, so I definitely want hers. I do need to work on these. So starting with Ready to Be, we started to get these kind of little, I'm not sure if you call them postcards. I'm not sure what you would call them, but we have them in the stickers, and I did collect OT9 and I have this set up, as you can see. So the stickers are on the back. I need to work on with Youth because I'm missing that nylon. Though I do have all the stickers there. I'm missing the Jiho. And is that, yeah, I have her sticker, but I don't have Sana's. And I'm missing the Chaeyoung, but I do have all the stickers for that. So I need to settle down and actually work on those. I did try to collect OT9 for all these photos that came with like the Walmart version, but ended up missing both the Momo and the Mina, and right now it's whatever. I'm just keeping, if I ever get them, that's great. If I don't, whatever. Strategy, again, like the With Youth, there are bits missing here and there, though I do at least have the Sana, Jiho, Mina here all done. It's just the others that need work. And of course, this is 4. Same thing, missing stuff. I don't think I have anything close to being actually done. The Story Goes On did not have these, so yay. One less thing I can like fall behind on. But that's all like for twice. Then we have the solo, larger inclusions, which for the most part, if I pulled them, I kind of kept them. And I ended up getting this kind of like it says it's a postcard for Misimo, for one of the lots I got. And I decided to put it back here. I guess technically I should also put that one postcard that I have in Mina's like photo card section back here too, but we'll see. It's kind of on its own, so it's not like really bothering me at the moment. But yes, that is larger inclusions, and that is the final twice binder. I am thinking, because I got like a different brand of binder for this. I don't quite like it. I'm gonna try to see if I can like change it out for another one for a pink that I do like. Yes, because eventually this will be the third binder once the collection gets large enough that it can't fit in that second binder again, which I 100% see happening, because Twice may not be releasing as much as they used to, but there's always so many photo cards whenever they do. So with that all said, let us move on to the next group that have their own binders, which is Stray Kids. All right, so we have my first Stray Kids binder here. I have just started a new collage for it, which as you can see is pretty sungmin by focused, and I can explain why that is, because I saw the Dominate movie in theaters, and it just completely rekindled all my love for Stray Kids. I would definitely consider them one of my alt groups. And with that, I decided, since I had been collecting top 4, I really wanted to collect another member. So what I decided to do, Sungmin is the bias, undeniably. Nothing is going to change that. So I figure I am going to just have all his cards together on his own. Hence why it looks like I only have Sungmin on the front of this, because eventually this, with any luck, this will just be a mostly Sungmin binder. But I'll go into why the Sungmin that I have up here are up here. But for now, these are the ones that I can put in the Sungmin only collection area. I also have some Japanese cards of his, so they're up here. And then we will go to what will eventually just be the other 4 members that I'm collecting. Like I said, I wanted to collect another member, which is Han. So what I've decided to do, collecting Han is not a priority. It is definitely something I will be doing eventually, completely back collecting for him. But for now, it's like, if I come across a card of his that's cheap, I'll pick it up. If I can find one of his cards in a trade, I will make that trade. And whenever I do and I get that card and it has a Sungmin equivalent, I will take the Sungmin, put it in the Sungmin section, and then put the Han into the OT4 sets that I have. So that is what I've been doing, or I've started doing. So that is a work in progress. Again, it's kind of low priority compared to my main priority for back collecting, which is just finishing up the 4 members I have been collecting up until now. I'm very happy to say that I am done with I Am Who for that. Again, it is something I need to go back and get the Han for, but again, not the priority right now. It's getting all the Chan, the Lino, the Felix, and the Sungmin, and which I have managed to do for I Am Who now. Yay! Oh, and I do have a few OT9 sets, like for these self-portraits. I did OT9 there. I am currently working on I Am You in this Sungmin. This is like the last Sungmin I need. It should be, I should be getting it in my next Neokyo haul. So very excited about that. I should also be getting a couple other I Am You cards. So that is the I Am Who collection that I completed. That I was considering to be my goal for the year, or one of my yearly or goals for the year that I had. I have done that. It is only midway through, so I am now shifting to trying to finish up now I Am You before the end of the year. So while I would love some new Stray Kids music from them, I'm okay with this long break because it has given me the chance to do a lot of this back collecting. I am so close to I Am You being done, and that would be great because I am done with Miro. That is a complete for what I need. Yellowwood I need to work on, and that is fine. I feel like it will happen. If I can at least get done with the I Am era stuff, that would be fantastic. And then like Yellowwood and Levanter can be more next year. Though I'm very close with Levanter being done. Oh, and there are going to be like some areas where it's going to be an empty space, and that's because doing this was delayed so long. I have more cards that I've gone in that need to be stored, so I have left the spaces. I'm not storing them yet, so instead you're just going to have an empty space. So I do have like the Lino for this page, which is nice. I do need his other card in the Chan up there, but that's okay. That's still progress, and I'm very happy for that. But yeah, I'm surprised. I did not expect to get this much done for Go Live in this year, but I have been able to get quite a bit done. And in life too. But yes, this was like the last Felix card that I needed, because I am done back collecting for him. I have everything that I need for him for back collecting. Yay for one member being completely done. And like I mentioned, Sungmin is like basically one card away from also reaching that. Though for Sungmin, there are some like special edition cards that I would like to hunt down for him too. But for this part of the collection, you would be done with that. So we have No Easy. Which is basically when it really exploded with like how many cards you could get, or they were releasing for a release. All right, so Christmas Evil. This was the comeback that, you know, during No Easy era, that's when I became a fan. So Christmas Evil was the first comeback that I had like pre-orders for and everything. So I went ahead and decided that I would collect OT8 for it. And so so for this, I have full OT8 sets for everything. Thankfully, you know, there wasn't too much. But since I did pre-order, I did get like this full OT8 set for that. And then of course with Xdinary, very exciting because this was the first time that their albums were available in US stores. But of course not all of them, like the jewel case, so I'm missing the Chan there. But I am slowly working on filling up all that so then I can be like done. Because for a while I wasn't even bothering with like the jewel case versions and such, but I did decide to change. I should have this Chan on the way though, so this can be done. And I think that'll mean like everything from Accident on should be complete. Yeah. Once I have that, then everything from Accident to Do It, I will have done. Because, you know, this was when they were releasing things and I was actively collecting for them. So I definitely could make sure that I finished these collections. And of course I had to have this as an OT8 set. This Felix was a pain, but I think I did pretty well getting him for what I got him for. Even though it was a lot more than I wanted to pay for like a freaking album card. Okay, yeah, so this takes it up to 8. Of course, as my progress with getting Hans to move into these pages and moving Sungmin into his own, what era I have this up to will probably like shift a bit. But for now, that is what I have. I'm very happy with the progress I've been making with like back collecting. And yes, like for the longest time I really felt like finishing up like back collecting for Stray Kids was just, it felt almost like a pipe dream. But now I'm finally in a place where it's like I can see the end. You know, it's like this is happening, I'm actually accomplishing things. So very, very happy. So let us move on to the next binder that has the more recent releases. All right, so this is the second Stray Kids binder. So we start with Hop. Yes. But yes, I am more or less, yeah, I am done with all other releases. If there is a blank spot, that is because I got the Han to switch out the Sungmin with. And what I'm very happy about is that I have, with Do It, I have everything set up for like Han. So it's a top 5 collection with, of course, all the Sungmin being in his little section in the other binder. So I can start saying from Do It on, it's those 4 in this and Sungmin in his own. So, or collecting top 5. That's probably the easiest way to say that. I went ahead and decided to make these stickers in here. Usually I don't bother with stickers, but I just really like these. And they kind of fit as IDs, even though we did actually get IDs as well. But yes, we haven't had another release, so it gets to remain as it is. And I finally upgraded this binder from a 2-inch to a 3-inch, which was very long overdue. Very glad I matched, or finally got around to doing so. Then we have OT8. These are from the Japanese releases, OT8 sets. Since usually when a new Japanese release comes out, you can get an OT8 set of like the regular edition pretty easily. So I have been doing that. I also picked up a couple OT8 sets from the JYPE Japan online store. So I have this set and this one. So this is basically my OT8 Japanese cards section. And then we have, for the Korean releases, any OT8 sets that I have. For a little while I was doing like Target, like collecting them in full, but then people got kind of ridiculous with pricing members, and since I wasn't pulling them, it's like I'm not spending like 30 bucks on a card. Sorry. I'm just not, especially for an OT8 set. This was actually a pre-order set that I got. I believe that was Aladdin. I want to say this was also Aladdin as well. But yes, that's from a pre-order. This is for the Dominator movie. There was a special Fandango set that you could get if you purchased a ticket, where basically got you a waiver to use for a ticket for the movie, as well as giving you a full set of these. There is another way to get them, and that is if you bought the Barnes & Noble edition of the Blu-ray. It come with like 2 of these. And it is exactly the same set, because I bought it, then I was like, oh wait, these cards look familiar. And yeah, I matched them. They're exactly the same. So they're probably just what was left over. But that is fine. I'm kind of glad people have another way, even though these are kind of like maybe not as high quality as your standard Korean, but I still like them. To me, they're like kind of a keepsake of the movie release. So I have them there. And then we have my Sungmin non-album cards. So we start with Season's Greetings. I'm just throwing these in here because I can. Yes, very excited. I have another Christmas Evil pop that I can add to this page. But yes, these are my random album pobs for Sungmin, which I will gladly grow whenever I can. I think this is more like merch cards that I have, if I remember how I sorted this out, and some tour cards. And then I did get some of his Daikon cards. I do want at least 3 more to, you know, finish up the page. And then we have miscellaneous unit and group cards. I mean, for the most part, I'm not going to hunt down the units unless I have like a page for them in, like you saw with the earlier album card collections. Otherwise, they just kind of live back here. And again, Stray Kids has the same thing with Twice. We're not, everything faces the same direction, but right now, there's not enough for me to get bothered by it. And these are Japanese. So this was a unit card from a Japanese release, a group card from a Japanese release. And I did get a couple of Japanese singles new, and these are just my pulls from those that I've just held on to because why not? So this is basically the last card binder I have for Stray Kids, but I do have a larger inclusions binder for them. So let us move on to that, and that will be my third and final Stray Kids binder, at least for now until, you know, these grow more. All right, so this is my third Stray Kids binder, which has the larger inclusions. It's also one of the few binders that I still have as a 2-inch binder. So at some point I do need to upgrade it just because I want to have everything be 3-inch. But I do have some of the postcards from their earlier releases. Not all of it is a complete set for all of them, but I'm still glad to have them. I do want to get like for the Rockstar, or no, not Rockstar, what am I talking about? Or maybe it was. No, this was ATEEZ. I would like the full set. I just more or less have my pulls, or if I happen to get something in a lot that I purchased. Also would like the Karma like stickers in full. I have most of them. Just missing that Lino and Felix. So glad they gave us like the sets as they did for Do It, so that way I could have the full set. Still missing a couple. I'm missing the Changbin and the Han for I'm You here. Oh, this was like a Polaroid set for, was it the Xdinary tour? I got the Blu-ray and it came with a full set of these. But yes. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with like these things, the ones that I have. So it would be nice to have more, but I'm not gonna worry too much. And then we have these mini posters when they were doing them. I think I'm missing, yes, I'm missing the Jungin from Xdinary. He's the only one I should be missing. Everything else should be a full OT8. And then I have this Sungmin pop-up that I just store back here. I got this for the sound. And yeah, it's kind of like become a little bit of a Sungmin section. Rockstar got his little poster. I didn't bother with getting the poster for Sungmin for Do It. I probably should at some point, but it's not high on my list. And then I have the full set of these here on the back, which I believe, yeah, this is Xdinary. So that is what I have for larger inclusions. Again, the only real change I see with the binder is, you know, upgrading it to a 3-inch. Yes. So with that, we can move on to the next JYPE group, which is going to be a much smaller collection compared to these two that we've just finished, and that is Itzy. Okay, so we have my Itzy binder, which is a single binder. As I'm not doing complete collections for anyone, at least not yet. Right now, I'm collecting top 2, but it's 2 sets, pure release. I have been working on this a lot more. Okay, never mind. So this is my Itzy binder. I only have the one. They're a group I'm a bit more casual on, so I'm only collecting 2 members, my top 2, Ryujin and Chaerong. And I'm only, right now the focus is collecting 2 sets for each release for them, just because I kind of feel like that's doable. And it won't feel like it's way too much, because Itzy has been around for a while, so they've got quite a few cards, especially if you throw in all their special editions, which I don't think I'm even going to bother with. I think it's just going to be like more or less main albums, regular albums. Maybe some of the polka stuff, but yeah. Right now I just don't want to get too far into it, because they're like I said, Itzy has been around for a while, so there can be a lot for them. But yes, I have been working on this in the past year, because if you saw like my previous like binder tour, this was looking really sad. So it does look better. Let's see, then we have Japanese releases, which I am going to go ahead and at least collect, you know, the 2 of each for them. Because I'm collecting the way I am, that's why I feel like it's okay to go ahead and also collect the Japanese stuff. But it's not as high priority as the rest. I do have some OT5 sets though. Just pretty much picking favorite sets from eras. It's not one pure release or anything like that. It's just, do I like this set? If the answer is yes, then yeah, OT5. So these are the first 3. I should have the Yeji for this on the way, so looking forward to that. I have a feeling I should probably fix this up, so that way I think the Japanese stuff should be on its own. So it should technically actually be gold next. Or maybe I did it because these are like all a single era. I think that's probably what I was doing, because I did get like the polka versions, and you get like OT5 sets in them, and then I just needed to get an OT5 set to fill the middle. I think that was my thinking, and that's why they're after the Japanese. I have been dragging my feet. I need to get the last 2 for Tunnel Vision here. So those are other cards that are high on the priority list. Oh, so this is more or less my setup for when I put Motto, because I did get a polka version, so I'll have the 2 OT5 sets. And I did pull the Yeji and the Chaerong, and I really like the cards from this polka set, because it's the one where each one has a letter of the album name. So this will be full later, and I think that's probably what I should just kind of focus on, is finishing the OT5 sets I've got going here. All right, and then we have random units. As I'm someone who, you know, I don't always hunt out units to complete them, but if I get them, I keep them. So that's what a lot of this is. Just, I got something, it had units, so I kept it. And of course the Japanese stuff at the end here. And then we have larger inclusions. I'm really glad I never really fully got rid of the larger inclusions from when I was originally collecting Itzy, so that way I could just like put them all kind of back in real quick. And I do have some OT5. And yes, I realized I had like all 5 of these, so I think these were like Target exclusives, because they got really weird with like the Target exclusive item for Itzy for a while. And then we go into the larger inclusions that are just Ryujin and Chaerong. Yee. Film strips kind of stuff, and I didn't know how to sort these, so these are kind of a mess. I'll need to fix it up to make it look nice one of these days, or maybe find a pocket page that these work better with. Who knows? We'll find out. Have those. Oh, and for Kill My Doubts, they had all these little circle things that I punched out, and I do have all 4 sets that fit very well in this 12 pocket page. And then back here, so I have the feeling that eventually I will change my mind and I will fully collect at least like everything but the special editions, basically, for Ryujin and Chaerong. So if I happen to get a set, or if I find like one of their cards for a really good price, I'll pick it up and I'll put it back here for whenever I make that change. And if there's holes, that's because I've gotten a card, I just haven't put it in here yet. So that way, you know, I have them on hand for when I'm ready for that next step in this collection. This page though, this is Pobs. Ryujin is the main bias, Chaerong second. I could not let go of this Chaerong pop, so instead she gets to be the middle of a whole bunch of Ryujins. What will eventually become a whole bunch of Ryujins. But for now, this is what I have. I'm quite happy with it. I don't need a lot of Pobs, but if I see something cute of Ryujins that I want, it'll come back here. Oh, and of course, IDs. I don't know what to do with them, so I just have a page now for them if I don't have anywhere else to put them. And of course, it'll be the 3 members, because I usually try to find a way to work in Ryujin and Chaerongs into my setups, but you know, harder to do for the other members, so they just get to chill in the back here. So a small and slowly growing collection, but I'm quite happy with it, because again, I'm far more casual with Itzy than I am when it comes to like the JYPE groups, but I still do like them quite a bit. So I think this collection's a good reflection of where they sit there. Okay, that said, we are going back into multi-binder collections, and the first one will be NiziU. All right, so this is NiziU's first binder. So starting off, I'm so happy this section is growing. I was so worried that we would just never get like more standard like card sizes. Of course, with Coconut here, which was the first one that had a size that could actually fit into a 9-pocket page. They are a bit larger than the usual K-pop trading card, but you know what? They still fit into a 9-pocket. It was still a very, very welcome change. And then, starting with a new emotion here, they have, it looks like they've finally completely moved on to more standard photo card size photo cards for their releases. This is the regular set, so like a lot of Japanese releases and Japanese groups, if you're just looking for like the regular versions, you can usually get a full group set of it pretty cheap. Which is why you'll see them in here. But yes, like I said, this is New Emotion. I love this page. I am still currently working on it. I'm gonna get pretty close, hopefully, to finishing it with my next Neo-Kyo haul. But yeah, definitely want it done before the end of the year, and I should be able to. I know I don't have much left. So, Good Girl But Not For You. I can never remember the full title. But again, they're continuing on with this size, so I think it's, at this point, you know, kind of can be considered a given. This is what they'll all be. This is, again, the regular edition. Photo cards for all the members, able to get in an OT9 set pretty easily. I do not have a lot of work on this because I've really been focusing on New Emotion for NiziU, though I do have at least one Anina's for this set, and there are like 2 other sets for this, but I don't have any of the cards for the other ones. I think I grabbed at least a couple cards from one of the other sets for my next Neo-Kyo haul, so slowly that'll start getting worked on, but as I finish up New Emotion. Okay, so now we have the K-pop releases photo cards. So we have Press Play, which was so easy because it's only like the 2 sets. And then we have Love Line, which had so many sets, so many. But I can say I am now completely done, which is why I'm focusing on New Emotion, because I have nothing else I need to get for Love Line, which is so nice. So yes, a lot, so much. But I don't care. I love I love this group so much. I know they don't have a lot of impact outside of Japan, but I still love them. And then I have a lot of these. I don't have all of them. I would like to one day have all of them, but just kind of slowly trying to pick up what I can for these sets, which came out for like releases or merchandise and tours on the JYPE Japan online store. They will have OT9 sets, which are all, you know, set up to look like this. But I basically started getting into this because they didn't have other photo cards that fit 9 pocket pages, but these could. So I started picking up these, and now it's just kind of a habit, and you know, it's like, might as well if I can find them. Plus some of these sets are cute. It would be nice if like it was like a full image on the photo card, but you know, I'll take what I can. And I do have a couple more on the way because I did a JYPE order since for their latest tour. I was able to grab their sets because I am missing some that came out recently. It just wasn't working out for when I had money and when they were available to buy, so I'll have to pick them up secondhand, and that's fine. The last section here is for the OT9 sets for their season's greetings. Since these are more or less the sets that you get in full by purchasing the season's greetings, they're all, for the most part, they were all pretty easy to get, and I was able to get most of them as OT9 sets. I think this was the big one that I had to like hunt most of them down individually. It was a pain, but I waited too long and there just wasn't OT9 sets anymore. So that was on me. But I made sure that for the most recent year, I grabbed them as soon as I could. So this is for the 2026 season's greetings. So I have everything for that. But yes, I am just so glad that we're getting regular size cards for their Japanese releases. It also means this binder is going to be growing quite a bit. But you know what? I totally welcome that. NiziU is definitely one of my old groups, so I welcome it growing. And again, I do have another binder, so let's move on to that one. All right, this is the second NiziU binder. Basically, the first one grew just enough that it couldn't fit everything comfortably. So we have this binder. This is an OT9 POB set. So is this one technically, but these are clear cards. And these are random clear cards because I started off just getting like clear cards for 3 members for 3 releases. You can see the members here for the U version, but I've changed that, and I will probably end up getting like the clear cards for all these releases, OT9, but that is a project that, you know, low priority. It will happen when it will happen. I'm not gonna rush it. This is kind of like a mix, mix match set of POBs for Rise Up. I still need to get the Riku and the Mihi for that. And then we just have a whole bunch of non-album cards for Nina, as she is the bias. So I will never say no to having more photo cards of her. And then I just have random non-album cards for other members. basically I kind of get them in sets and I just decide to, you know, hold on to them. These are actually from Press Play. I have not decided yet of whether or not I want to get the OT9 set. I pulled the Mihi, and of course I got the Nina because it's Nina. I'm not going to pass up getting one of her cards. But yeah, I haven't quite decided on whether or not I should get the rest of these. And if I do, they're going to be moved into the other binder with the rest of the Press Play cards if I decide on that. And then we have a miscellaneous group page. Because a lot of the OT9 sets I'm getting also have like a full group card, but that makes it 10 cards. And 10 cards don't fit on a 9 pocket page very well. So instead they gotta live over here. And then we have larger inclusions. A lot of it is just like miscellaneous larger inclusions that I happen to get with like some of the sets that I was purchasing. So it's not going to be a lot of OT9, just a lot of random members. Except for NiziU Day, I did get the OT9 set for that. And I was trying to get OT9, and maybe one day I'll go back and get the rest of the Love line. Because I know I am missing some members. And like this is also Love line stuff, which I'm missing for. So Press Play, it came with these clear frames to put over photo cards. I just decided to keep the frames and I threw them back here because I don't know where else to put them. So that is where they exist. And this is for any With You cards that I get. As I mentioned with the kind of odd size binder, the fan club versions, they have their own photo card sets, but to keep my sanity, I am not getting With You versions. But if I happen to get a set and it has any With You, it ends up here. Right now, Aika from Coconut is the only one that I have those With You cards for sizes that fit with it in a 9 pocket page. So yeah, that just kind of lives there in the back. And that is what I have for NiziU. So we move on to another alt group of mine, NMIXX. All right, so this is my first NMIXX binder. And my collection for NMIXX has taken quite a few different turns. Currently, I've decided, well, for the longest time, I decided to just collect Solyun, because if she is my bias, she is kind of a pricey member too. So I figured it'll just be easier if I focus on her and not bother with collecting other members. Then I saw them in concerts earlier this year, and it's like, I love this group. I love this group so much. So I might as well see about picking up my second bias, Lily. So at least for Admare, I've decided that I'm gonna do top 3. So Solyun, Lily, and Bae. I only recently decided on Bae, which is why I only have the 1 card for her. I should have more of hers coming in to help fill that out. But yes, for Admare, it's the top 3. most of these are just going to be Soyun, though I do have plans to hopefully bring in Lily later once I figure out how the pages are going to be when I do that. At least for these older collections. So everything up to Heavy Serenade is basically just going to be Soyun, except for when they do polkas. Because when they do polkas, you get like full sets, so I just do these 2-page spreads for them. Though I did go ahead and get like the Target versions as well to fill up this page. Because I just needed a 3rd set. And then we have the member exclusive polkas. And we got so many photo cards for this release. Alright, and then Soyun, and then polkas, though we do have a Target set as well to fill it out. And this is, yeah, Stickhouse when they also started to do units for album cards. And NMIXX is that kind of group where I will collect all the units for them. Yes. And then we have polka, and for the middle, instead, this was the release that we had the MP3 player that they're all holding, and this whole set came, if you bought the MP3 player version, you got the full set. So that got to be my 3rd set to go with the polka sets. Oh, Blue Valentine, so good. Oh, I was a bit confused because it's like, what is the 3rd set? Oh, that's right. They had 3. There were 3 versions. That's why I had 3. I didn't have to figure out a 3rd to add to it. But yes, this is Heavy Serenade. I do have cards on the way. It is a work in progress. But as you can see, I have worked Lily into the collecting for this. And I decided to just keep this as an OT6 set, as this came with the music box. And then we have the polka cards. And oh my gosh. My storing video, I don't know how I did it, but I totally screwed up this page. I'm so glad I looked back and realized what I had done, because I had like all the Bay, all the Jiwoo, all the Kyujin, which of course does not work with the way that the spread is supposed to be. Oof. Oh yes, I do have the matching unit for this. Like I said, I am working on this. Hopefully, you know, there'll be progress made that will go into the binder sooner rather than later. And now we have well, the last section for this binder is my Soyeon pops. I'm not collecting everything, but I am collecting a good amount of her pops. For Admare, I collected 2 pages worth. For Entwerf and On, I plan on doing 3 pages worth. I'm not quite done with Entwerf though. I still need to get like at least 5 more to collect or to finish up, and that is my goal for the end of the year, is to have Entwerf done. Though I have been working on some of these other collections. I do have all the pages out for Expergo. I think the rest I just have for whatever I have. Like Midsummer NMIXX's Dream, I'm doing pretty well with. The fact that I'm already on the 2nd page for it. But yes, I am also, you know, if I find a card I think it's cute and it's for a good price, I'm definitely picking it up no matter what era it is, as long as, you know, it's not one that I've completed. But seeing as Admare is the only one that I've done that with, it's pretty open. Because I figured that helps me later on. Oh yes, I was able to purchase the Target card for Soyeon, so she will be added to this binder. And this is Miscellaneous Soyeon. This is for the light stick. What was that one for? Oh, that's the Mixpedia. This is a pop for one of their season's greetings. This is their tour card. If you bought merch, I pulled this. I am so happy that I somehow managed to pull her when I bought my merch. And I have these ID cards. They came with I think one of the pops, and it's like, I don't consider ID cards as pops, so like a lot of ID cards, they just kind of sit in the back and I'll just collect them all there. So have a second NMIXX binder that has plenty to go through, so let us move on to that one. All right, so we have the second NMIXX binder here, and we are continuing on with pops because, again, NMIXX is an old group, so I go pretty hard for them. Lily, so while Soyeon has always been the bias, I was really scared about the price of her cards near the beginning, because she was just so expensive compared to the rest. So I think, if I remember initially, I was actually focusing on Lily for like pobs, because it's like, okay, I can get Lily pobs for pretty cheap. But after a while, and after prices kind of settled a little bit more, Soyeon collecting her pobs was not as ridiculous, so I kind of downsized what I had for Lily. But what I've decided is that for Lily and Bae, since they're still part of the top 3, I wanted to collect at least 3 pobs pure release for them, which was easy for Lily because that was just downsizing and picking which 3 that I wanted when I made that change. But yeah, need to ever so slowly work on this, because I did fall behind on it. But I have everything through a Midsummer NMIXX's Dream. Hopefully I can get more done. So at least have her caught up. Bae, because my original top 3 was Soyeon, Lily, and Kyujin. it changed and Bae switched out with Kyujin. So Bae's collection here, it's older or not. No, it's newer. Yes, that's what I'm going for. Much newer, so I don't have like all the older cards for her. But I should be able to finish Admare soon, which will be great. And then I can just work on like Entour for her. And that'd be nice to at least finish this page. But I do have Xvirgo and a Midsummer NMIXX's Dream done for her. And a lot of these other cards, they're mostly like Target cards, really. Except I did pre-order like the Poké sets from K-Town for You, so I got a full K-Town for You set, which meant both Lily and Bae, since I also pulled their Target cards. I had pretty much 2 cards for them for Heavy Serenade right off the bat, which was great. Like I mentioned, Kyujin was the original 3rd favorite. Still love her greatly, hence why I still, you know, was not able to do too much downsizing for her. So what I've decided is, because with Xvirgo, I went pretty hard with Xvirgo, as you can see, and like all the members have at least 3 POBs or store exclusive cards. So what I figured what I would do for Kyujin was that since I have the Amari, I have the Antwerp, I have Xvirgo, I would at least finish up this page with NMIXX's Midsummer NMIXX's Dream. So I just need to get 1 more card and then I'm done with older POBs for Kyujin. I say that because I've also decided that going forward, yeah, and I started with forward. Yeah, so from forward on, I would at least get 1 POB or store exclusive card for each member. Basically because I pulled like, I think everyone for these plushies, and there was no way I was letting these Target cards go. Absolutely no way. So that's why I decided that, you know, then for all the other members, I'd at least have 1 POB or store exclusive card for them, pure release. I have meshed, yeah, with Heavy Serenade, that fills out this page. So with their next release, there will be a new page to add. Now, I really could not completely get rid of all of like the POBs and all the cards for Lily, because I love her. I love her way too much to be able to do so. So I have a cheat page. This is the cheat page. And yes. So some of these will be moved back into like the regular album collections, and some of them are regular album cards, but like these 2 on the bottom here. But I'm not quite ready to do that yet. I want to finish with the top 3 for Admare, and then I'll like move on to the next. These are also regular album cards. Well, this not so much regular album, but I still, you know, kept it for my cheat, and I'm glad I did, because I have a feeling these ones are going to be a pain to hunt down. And I also have a cheat page for Bae. So yeah, whenever I pull a Bae card and I just cannot let it go, it comes back here to live. And A Midsummer NMIXX's Dream. Yeah. I went pretty hard for this era, so I have two of them are pops. One of them is the Target exclusive, if I remember right. I want to say the top is the Target exclusive. This is a MakeStar set because it was just adorable. And this was back when I was ordering from Aladdin before tariffs just made everything worse for collecting. But yeah, this is the Aladdin set on the bottom, if I remember right. And we have a miscellaneous unit page here. I think most of these are like the Barnes & Noble exclusive, because for NMIXX they do units for their exclusive for Barnes & Nobles. This was just units that I couldn't fit into what I had going on for Heavy Serenade. And then we have miscellaneous group cards. Usually I try to get the group cards, you know, worked in to whatever I'm doing for my layouts for the album cards, but sometimes it doesn't work, so they all get to live, you know, on their own page back here. And we're not done with cards yet. I do have some Season's Greetings. And this is from Mixpedia LA, the full set that you got from it. And this is Mixpedia Paris. And I was able to kind of work in the ID cards. It fills this page very nicely. Very happy with that. Ah, that's right. This is Season's Greetings. I should have looked at Lily. I would have been able to tell immediately. But yes, they're 2026 Season's Greetings. Again, they had ID cards, and just like with the Mixpedia Paris, it works very well as a 9-pocket page like that. And then you also got this photo set from it. And this is the photo card set you got with your VIP kind of bag of goodies for their concert tickets. Of course, for NMIXX, I 100% was going to get VIP. Very glad I did. And I love this set. And this is just miscellaneous stuff. Like, I did get Lily's little light stick card, and when I purchased NMIXX LA, these are the two members that I pulled. And this is the ID page. I will probably work Lily into the album card setup, but for now she'll be back here with the rest. And yes, the kind of slowly growing collection there. And now we have larger inclusions. So I wasn't sure what to grab for Antwerp. I think I was just doing top 3. I think that's why this is empty, because I did get the Bay, and I do have the Bay. She will be joining the rest of these in the next drawing video. So A Midsummer NMIXX's Dream, one of their versions, they have all these postcard sets. I love them, love them. So I decided to store them, even though they take up so much room. But that's okay, because a lot of them are vertical, so I could use the horizontal spaces for like the Antwerp and the Mixpedia Pick Paris. postcards, which as you can see are all horizontal. But yes, I just loved these postcards. And I got this as a pop. I want to say I did get it from Aladdin. I'm not exactly sure. But there are also some Nina cards, and that is that done. I do try to collect OT6 larger inclusions, at least for the postcards. I'm basically done with Break. I had trouble finding the Lily. I need to actually just look for it. Hopefully I'll find it and then I can just finish it and that will be done. That would be great. Oh, and for these up here, you may have noticed, but these are from that season's greetings. So for Stick Out, I really didn't do much of anything. What I have is basically what I pulled. So at some point I need to work on it. I just have not been doing so. And these are full sets that came with Blue Valentine, which is why nobody is missing here. Unlike Heavy Serenade. We'll start getting into some missing ones, but then again, it's the latest release. I think I can have some stuff missing. But for the heavy version, all the postcards are horizontal, so they all get to fit on the top. I did get Lily's Serenade postcard. I only got like one Serenade version, so she's the only one I have for that. But yeah, I am just missing Bei and Jiwoo for the heavy postcards. And I'm missing everyone but Lily for the Serenade. And I think I just have an extra page in here. Probably to make sure I have it for future releases. So these are sticker sheets. If you got the helper version of Break, one of the larger inclusions was a sticker sheet. I know I pulled Kyujin for both of the ones that I have. But I bought Soyeon and I think I just ended up with Bei because I was getting a set of something and it happened to have Bei's. For Forward, they had these little kind of film cards. As you can see, I had a lot of luck with like the one version and like none with this. But these were also things where it's like, I'm not actually going to hunt them down, but I'll keep the ones that I got. All right, so this came from A Midsummer NMIXX Dream. It just looked pretty, so I put it away. This is, again, more Pick Paris. Yes, there's also these clear kind of two-cut film strip things. Oh, and I did get a signed version for Break. I really need to see about getting more signed versions, but I got Jiwoo's signature. I swear these things. I've got to find a way to like store them so they kind of stay where they're supposed to. Yeah, bookmarks are, wait, No, I don't have anything that'll actually fit these. I think the only stuff that I have for bookmarks are like 3 pockets and that go that way, and that doesn't really fix the issue because these are too thin. I mean, if it was like maybe a 5 pocket that went that way, that would be perfect, or a 6 pocket maybe, but I don't think they make them. All right, and these were little circle things that you can punch out for their first season's greetings that I got, and the sticker sheets from that. I also have the sticker sheet from Pick LA and Pick Paris, and this is just random stuff that I've shoved in the back here and forgotten about. Yay. Sorry about that, I had to fix the pages that were escaping. Usually I do not have that issue, but of course I'm filming. That is the time where things are always bound to go wrong. Okay, so that is what I have for NMIXX. I think I'm still good for them for a while, unless I have to move the Soyun Pop collection. Yeah, I think they're definitely a group that I'm keeping an eye on for needing to expand to another binder, but it's not a worry yet. So that's it. Let us move on to the last JYP group that I have that has their own binder. Okay, so we have NEXZ. They are, like I mentioned, the last JYP group that has their own binder, and they are probably looking at needing to get a second binder before the end of the year. But we're not quite there yet, so I'm not going to worry too much. Yes, love NEXZ, and they're thankfully not too difficult to collect for, unless you're trying to collect Tomoya and then heaven help you. So I started off collecting top 4 because I never did anything too easy when it comes to NEXZ. But Seita, he is the main bias. Haru is the second. Yu has been the third for a good time, but Yuki has now finally moved up, so I think it's more Yuki, Yu, and then it's Sogan. And Sogan, though, he kind of ties with the rest more or less these days, so yeah. And again, I didn't do this easy because at the start, Yu was easily the most expensive member. It has changed. It is now Tomoya. Believe it or not, there was a time where he was not the most expensive. It was actually kind of decent for his pricing, but not anymore. So this is from their debut Japanese release. For this, I switched it up and went top 3. Again, like I mentioned, Yu was very expensive, so I didn't want to get his cards. So instead, I got Sogan because I figured that's doable, or else it would just be way too much. And then we move on to Nalina. So for like all the regular editions, as you may have noticed, I do collect OT7. No matter the release, it has worked out really well, and I'm very glad, because if I could, I would be 100% OT7 for everything. But I just couldn't afford to do that for everything. And again, if I want to go back and back collect, Tomoya. Just Tomoya. And it's like the special editions and the limited editions, because those are the ones that I did the top 4 for. Or even like the Nemos. Yeah, Nalina had a Nemo. Actually, they all did. So some of these sets are from like the Nemo editions, or Nemo / Polka. Oh really? Oh really? Was it? Yes. Because there were like 2 regular editions, a limited edition, I think. Yes, because the Polka / Nemo version, it didn't have a random card. So I just collected OT7 completely for this release. And then we have One Bite, where I got the regular edition OT7, and then I also found this set, OT7, pretty easy to find, so I went ahead and picked it up, though it's one of like the limited editions. And then this is where I kind of made the switch from Yu to Yuki, and Yuki's affordable, so I have no problem collecting him. I don't need to bring in Sogon to be the affordable member. So yes, Haru, Seta, and Yuki for One Bite. And then we have Beatboxer. And of course, for the Battler IDs, I did OT7 because for the regular editions, it did not matter which regular edition you got a Battler ID. So they're very easy to find, very cheap. So that was kind of a no-brainer for OT7. But oh my gosh, the special edition. This was the release. I almost gave up on you or collecting him. I mean, I pulled his NEXZ version, which was fantastic, but I was having so much trouble just even finding the special version of his card. But I did manage to do so eventually, because I was thinking of like maybe just switch him out for Yuki. But like I said, it ended up working out, and I did the usual top 4. If I do top 4 going forward, I'll probably be Seta, Yu, Haru, and Yuki. Okay, and of course, recently we had the release of NMIXX. This is basically just my pulls. I pulled dupes of the Seta for this version. Thankfully, I pulled 2 different members for this version because I ended up getting like 2 different sets. So I got 2 of everything. Thankfully, not too many dupes. So a lot of these will at least have 2 cards, which I'm very happy about. And as you can see, I just decided to do OT7. Don't ask me why and how that happened. It just did. It just did. I don't really feel like I remember making a conscious decision about it. It just happened. But I'm hoping, since a lot of this is lenticulars, it's not going to be that expensive. So the 2 of the dupes that I pulled, I got 2 different sanitizer versions, 2 completely different stores. Pulled the Tomoya and the Sogon twice. I can't complain too much though. And I am focusing on trying to finish the set quickly, just because the sanitizer edition is kind of like more expensive compared to some of these others. So that may be, I don't want that to be a problem. The NEXZ, thankfully, the NEXZ versions this time around, much more reasonable when it comes to pricing, but that's probably because the NEXZ little plush is terrible. It really is. You can't see it because thankfully they're blocking it, but you have the Fox T, which is like the stand-in for fans, the NEXZ little character, and it looks like they're hugging, but what happens is that underneath this, their bodies merge into one. It is weird. It looks bad. And I kind of feel like the members understood that, which is why I think everyone but Huey has that bottom part covered in their photo card. Because the top part just alone, it's cute. It is cute. But the bottom part, it's terrible. But yeah, the price is overall pretty low. So I'm not too worried. Unlike NiziU for Beatboxer, that is, oh my gosh. Tomoya is just beyond expensive there. So now we move on to like the OT7 sets that were in the versions of NMIXX that I purchased. We actually got quite a few, which is always nice to be able to have that. They also had these are actually really, really thin. But technically they fit in these, so they got to be in here and included. All right, and then we have my unit section. I do collect the units, at least for the Korean releases, because I don't think the Japanese releases actually have like units for the albums. I'll discuss that a little later. Beatboxer, so much for Beatboxer. Thankfully not so much for NMIXX. I got very lucky, no dupes. I just need 2 more, 1 for each set, and I am done with the units. But yes, this is like a 1-byte unit. I don't think it actually came in any of the versions. I'm not sure where it came from, but it was in a set. I have it now, so it just kind of lives on its own page until I get any other Japanese random units. So I do have some JYPE store sets for NEXZ. This is actually the first one they came out with after debut. I also got this winter one. I really like their winter sets. This, I believe, is from their first tour that they did. And again, a winter set because it's so cute. They don't do too many soft concepts, so very happy to have had or grabbed that. But unlike NiziU, I'm not grabbing every single one that comes out for NEXZ. Just the ones that I like. All right, so then we go on to POBs. So originally I had a set rule that I should have only like 4 POBs pure release for Seta, because I was definitely gonna get POBs for Seta. So I pretty much stuck with that pretty well for the most part, for most eras, until we got here to Beatboxer. And we have, it's kind of run over. I do actually have also another Beatboxer POB to add to this. This is an NMIXX POB, and I'll be getting more. I'll be getting whatever I want. That's what I've decided. I may redo this and may go back and get some other Pobs from earlier releases for Seta, but for now, I'm just kind of happy just vibing and getting what I want, because that's the joy in collecting. All right, so when I was collecting for their Japanese debut, to get one of the Sogun cards I needed, I ended up getting one of his like Pobs. And then of course I had all these IDs, which I believe came from Nalina, had them. So I realized, oh hey, I can do like a 9-pocket page if I got maybe like 1 Pob pure release for all the members. Like each member, I would get 1 Pob from one of their releases. So Huey is from their debut, our Korean debut, Japanese debut. Yeah, Nalina is the first comeback, which is you here, if I remember right. Yes. Aurelie is Haru, One Bite is Yuki, and then Beatboxer is Tomoya. Though of course, because of like the pink shirts, it definitely looks like Tomoya and Haru are from the same set. They are not, as you can see from the backs. Okay, so if I pull a card or I happen to somehow end up with an album card of a member that I don't collect for a version, like when I'm only doing the 4, then I still keep them. I keep them and I put them away in this, I guess, more or less cheat page, but it's also just in case I ever change my mind and want to do OT7. As you can see though, I could almost do OT7 for the special version, except for the Tomoya. And I can't even find a listing for that card. So I don't think that's happening. I just have the Huey and the Yuki. And then we have larger inclusions, which I had plans at one point. Right now it's like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to go back to collect everything I want to collect for them. So for the most part, I just keep whatever I pull. I do try to hunt down the Setas. Because, you know, bias. Of course, I do want to get like, these come from like the One Bite solo versions of the single or EP. I'm trying to remember what it is, but as you can see, I have like Seita and Yuki like this, but I would like to have like a third or like a fourth and then be able to split it. Maybe see if I can find like a U, because they're kind of cheap. And if you just need to like find an unopened version, and it should have like all of this. It'll also like balance out this, where I do have all this, the 3 for these little profile, yeah, these profiles, because it's just Yuki on the back here alone. Okay, and there were these mini posters where I have good amounts of them, but not all of them. But that's what I have for larger inclusions. But yeah, NEXZ is probably the next group that I need to get another binder for. I'll probably just move like pubs and larger inclusions into that second, and that'll buy me quite a bit of time before I have to think about another binder for them again. So that will finish up the JYPE groups, and then I have a whole bunch of other groups and miscellaneous that we'll be going through. The first non-JYPE binder that we'll be looking at is the first ATEEZ binder, because really with ATEEZ, how many photocards they release, there is no way you stick to a single binder for very long. But yes, and I don't even have everything like set up for all of their past releases, and this thing is almost full. But that's okay. I got the second binder. There's definitely room to like move things over for it to grow. You will definitely be seeing like empty spots in here because I do have more ATEEZ to add. But yes, I'm just, for the most part, just kind of randomly picking up older era stuff, not really focusing on it. My main focuses are really the golden era cards that I need. Because there is just so much work for these earlier eras, and I don't want to feel too overwhelmed. But I think overall I'm doing okay for like only starting this collection last year. But yeah, a lot of missing for earlier eras, but then get a couple pages that it doesn't look so bad. But then we go on to the others. Hey. So Golden Hour Part 1 is probably when it starts looking much better, even with like what's missing. There's at least a good amount for each page. All right, Part 2 is actually, it should be complete. Because thankfully it was still pretty new when I started the collection. Yeah, I pretty much got into ATEEZ right before Part 3. So that made Part 2 not too terrible to collect. So yes, from Part 2, really only Part 2 and Part 3, because I'm not done with Part 4. But hopefully I will be able to finish Part 4 very, very soon, especially with Part 5 on the horizon. But I swear ATEEZ is not letting up whatsoever. Oh, I guess I should probably bring up like members, biases. So favorite member, Mingi, he is the bias. Jungho, second bias. and is the third. So this is my top three, which, as you may have noticed, I do collect for. I don't do any OT8 sets unless it comes as an OT8 set, because ATEEZ is just, it's too much. It is way too much. So to keep my sanity, at most I'm sticking to top three. And again, for part 3, there'll be a lot of like these empty spots because I do have the cards. I just haven't put them in. So as you can see, very, very close to being done. This is like a digipack I'm missing. I'm missing one for one for Jungho, and I think that's it, because the polka that I'm missing for are on the way in my Neo Kyo haul. So yes, when I get that, the polka I need for will be done. I just need to get those 2 digipack cards. Oh, it's so nice to be almost done. So nice. And well, I have this set up more or less for part 5. Of course, I have really nothing to show because part 5 has not been released yet. So, though part 5 will probably be the last release that will fit here, though it may have to be moved in the future if I get more of the cards from earlier eras and have to put in more pages for them, because this is pretty close to being done. But like I said, I did get a second binder for them, and there's a lot of room to grow in that one. So let me go ahead and pull that out. This is the second binder. It is very mingy. It's centered. And you'll see why later on. But we do start off with a lot of OT8 sets. In the latest mini record kind of repackage of Fever, they all came with like full group sets, which is why a lot of these are blank, because I did get like all of them. All of them recently, so those will all have the sets. I can't say OT8 for all of them because Mingi was on hiatus for one of the releases, so for those there is no Mingi card. But yes, that is what these mostly are, because again, like I mentioned before, I will collect full member sets if they come as full member sets, which is what all of these were. So, and then we have random group cards that I have and random unit cards. All right, and then we have a top 3 section. I don't get too many POBs or store exclusives for top 3, just because, again, my sanity. But I do have some, so this is a collection of those. Usually for the exclusives that are super easy to find, or in this case, for the bread one, I pulled the I pulled the Jungho. There's no way I was not getting the Mingi. So I figured I'd hold on to those 2, and I would actually have that be a top 3 set. Yes. And I'll definitely have another top 3 set to add with part 5. Whether or not it's just 1 or more, we shall see. And then I have my Mingi section, hence why the Mingi cover. This is basically all the POB and store exclusives that I happen to pick up. And of course it will grow over time, and which is great. This is like more merch and non-album related cards, which is one full page so far. And then I have Japanese release cards. Don't have many, but have enough to feel like I can start a page for them. And then we have larger inclusions. So mostly postcards and things like that. Do try to collect top 3 and kind of stick with that, but for units, I'll just go ahead and keep whatever I get. And I have extra pages because I don't want to shove these down here. I'm keeping those up top because one day they will give us more postcards, I'm sure of it. And this is a random Mingy postcard. I think I got it in a set. And this was a benefit. I forget for what though. But they didn't have the Mingy one, but they did have Jungho. He is second favorite. So I got the Jungho Wooyoung there. But yes, this binder has plenty of room for growth. So if the other one starts to look like it's a little too full, I can always move some over into this. Next group that has their own binder is xikers. And mainly because I decided to expand instead of just collecting for Seiun, collecting top 3, which is Seiun, Jinshik, and Yujin. And I'm really glad I did. I love having, you know, multiple members in the collection. I just like the spreads, and it has actually been very easy to back collect for these members. I think I'm just missing one of Jinshik's cards. Yeah, I'm missing this one, but that's actually on the way. So that will be finished, and when I finish that, then I'm basically, no, I will be done with the back collecting. I'll just have their most recent release to focus on after that. Which is what this is. I do have some cards to add though. Very excited about that. And I have that open because I need to look up what their polka cards are. And figure out how I need to set that up. I just have been busy with everything else, so I have not done that. But yes, I am collecting their Japanese cards just because they are thankfully pretty easy to find and not that expensive. Of course, focus on Seiun first and then move to the other members. I should be getting some Yujin finally. For Lunatic Ski and the rest of the Jinshik that I need. And I hopefully, yeah, I think I remember picking up at least Seiun for Up All Night, which is their second Japanese release. And their last one so far. So if you got the polka version of their debut, you got like an OT10 set of all these cards. As you may have noticed, the Jinshik, Seon, and Yujin, I've moved to like the regular album section just to finish up a page. So this is where the other 7 are from that set. I also moved the Seon cards from these OT10 sets up into the front again, so that way this fits perfectly on in a 9 pocket page. And then I have my top 3 collections. Very happy because there was quite a few holes in this, but now I have at least 1 full page. Yes, the only top 3 is of course from their latest release. I pulled the Jinshik, so I need to find this. No, I think I actually picked up the Seon already. I just need to pick up the Yujin at some point. But I'm not too worried because again, it's their latest release that just came out. And then we have my Seon Pop and Store exclusive section, which I'm very happy with. And yes, I do have other cards to add to it. I swear, xikers has like some of the cutest Pobs and Store exclusive cards, so I just had to collect them, and thankfully Seon is not that expensive, so I was able to grab a lot of these for relatively good prices for Pobs. And I still can't believe it, but I actually pulled this hollow or I guess the golden card for Seon. I was so happy for that. But yes, if I run across a Seon Pop and I don't have it, I will more than likely pick it up, especially if it is cute, which I find most of his Pops to be. Yes, and I've only just started another page. I'm sure this is going to be growing quite a bit because I don't have any of the Root Zero, the Aura Pobs yet, and I know I'll probably end up getting quite a few in the end. So this is for cards that are not Pobs, they're something else. All right, this is a Pacific and this is a Tor card. And I do have some random units, since for, was it Wrecking the House, they had units for, I believe it was the Polka version. I also have a random group card, and I have a random, like, this is one of those cards, or yeah, it's a clear card, but you put over a card. So it can be a frame. But yeah, all those kind of miscellaneous kind of sit here on their own page. I don't have too much for larger inclusions. Of course, for Seon, if I find them, I do try to grab them for him if I don't have them already. But very kind of hodgepodge, though I do have his postcards for Route Zero. The next drawing video, I'll be able to put them back here. So looking forward to actually having something for the larger inclusion section, which doesn't have much, but that's okay. That means there's less filling up the binder, because I don't want to worry about like having to get new binders for everyone. xikers looks like they're going to be good for a good long while, even with me grabbing all the random Seons I could. So let us go ahead and move on to the next binder. So we have my TXT binder. TXT was basically the group that kind of brought me back into K-pop after I had taken a break from it. So they hold a very special place in my heart. Even though I've been going kind of back and forth with what I've been collecting, but as you can see, the one member that I've decided to like keep collecting no matter what is Taehyun. I was for a while just collecting like 3 cards per era for him, but I've decided to like change that up and try to collect everything. I do have at least their first few releases kind of like set up, and then it's just whatever because I don't have enough of the cards from the release, because they started off like with not too many cards pure release, and then that changed. So these are a little bit more of a mess. I do have another card from their latest release to add. So even though I am going to be collecting whatever I can for him, I still want to focus on at least getting like 3 members pure release at first, and then kind of working on the rest, because I would like this to be kind of one of my more chill collections. Then we have Season's Greetings, as well as a couple deco kit cards as well mixed in. And then we have Japanese cards, which have moved on to a second page. I would like to get more of his Japanese cards, but that's that's on the long wish lists of other things that I would like to get. Then we have Pops and store exclusive cards. And I think these are just miscellaneous. I'm not even sure where some of them are from. And then I was for a while collecting top 3, which was Taehyun, Soobin, and Hyunenkai. And for that, I got like these deco kit cards, and it's like, I don't want to get rid of them. I actually really like this spread, so it stayed. And I have an extra page. Do not ask me why. Okay, so I also do have select OT5 sets. Just basically, if I want to collect it, I collect it. So I do. But I'm very happy to have these because, again, another group that I love all the members. It's just, I can't afford to collect all the members. So instead, I just collect all the members for some sets. So this is the last page. I just really haven't seen a set that's like, I need to have all of them. But I'm sure there will be in the future. And miscellaneous unit set, or unit page. And this is miscellaneous group cards. And like I said, I was collecting Soobin and Hyunenkai as well, so I have these. One day I need to get like these cards for both of them. I'm only missing one Hyunenkai, but for Soobin I am missing both. I'll fix it at one point, just it's not high on the list, unfortunately. And there was even a point where I was trying OT5, which was kind of ridiculous. I think I had gone down to like OT5 for some sets. So I had like all of these, so I figured, okay, I'll go ahead and put them in a page. And I think I just kept things that I pulled here from, what release was that? Thursday's Child, that's right. So if I pulled a Yeonjun, I pulled a Bumgyu, so it's like, okay, I'll just keep them and add them to this page. And yes, TXT is also one of those groups that got kind of weird Target exclusives, like these clear cards. And for some reason, for like their Japanese releases, really love having these large group cards for them. But yeah, I put like the Taehyun on here so that way the other 4 members can all fit on one page here. And then we have larger inclusions. Which I actually do have a good amount because I've been collecting TXT for so long and they had been like a major focus. Though there are some things where it's not so well covered. And of course there are some like top 3 sets just from that time when I was still doing top 3. I just didn't want to let them go. It's like I have them already. Why not? And back when they were doing these kind of mini poster things, I just kept Taehyun. I think I'm missing one. Yes, I am. I'm still missing that one. I just haven't bothered to look for it. And I had a couple of those. I think these were like Walmart exclusive poster things. But it's like I got 2. I think there were 3 of them in total, but it's like I'm fine with just the 2. I don't need the 3rd. It's cool. But yeah, it's a bit of a slow growing collection, but I'm very happy with it as it is. And I think if I was trying to put like more pressure on me to collect things, I would be getting back to the point where it's like, I just don't want to collect for TXT anymore. And I don't want to do that. So going with cool and casual. It is also one of the few 2-inch binders I still have in my collection. I would like to upgrade to another binder. I'm being very picky with like the color of the binder. I want like the light blue color that I have for like the Twice, their first binder, that matches Nayeon's color. For something about that light blue, I think I associate with TXT as well. So if I can find something that's 3-inch of that color, and yeah, I will probably go ahead and pick that up, and this will finally be in a 3-inch binder. But until then, it's not at the point where it needs the 3-inch binder, so I'm not too worried about it. I have all the time in the world to be as picky as I want. So we move on to the next binder is when it's also where we'll switch off from having these single group binders into more miscellaneous binders. But we're going to be starting with some J-pop. And we have my Starto binder, which is the only binder that's like solely dedicated to J-pop and J-pop groups, because Starto is the name of an agency in Japan, and I just like a lot of the groups that they have. So I bundled them all together in a binder. We start off with Kiss My Foot 2. They are one of the older groups. at the agency at this point, which just seems weird to me because I was there for their debut. I was there before they debuted, when they were just a group while all still being trainees, which with Starto, they're known as juniors when they're in their trainee status. But yes, my bias for Kiss My Foot 2 is Senga Kento. And yeah, thankfully they started to do some trading cards, which I picked up. They started off doing it for their tours, which is what most of these from this page are from. And yes, for one of the tours, I went ahead and actually picked up like the trading cards for like the units in the group cards, Senga of course, and my second bias, which is Fujigaya Taisuke. Yeah. So that's what all these are. And recently, because they don't always have trading cards for all of their releases, they just don't do that for their group, but they will have them randomly. And for their latest single and Joy, they had trading cards for pretty much like the pre-order benefit, and you would get 2 cards in a pack. I was able to find a listing that had all the packs, and so I was able to get all of them. Very happy with it too. So I have like a full member set here. And then we have larger inclusions, which are just really random inclusions, and some of them are just like pre-order benefits that you'd get. For Curtain Call here, though, these were actually in the single, and these are something that's very popular with J-pop groups, and that's alternative covers. So these you would just kind of slip into the jewel case in front of the booklet, and these would be the new covers if you wanted them to. I do have a random page. That's because I keep on thinking I should get more photos for Kiss My Foot 2, especially of Senga. I do have some random photos of him, as well as Yoko. These were part of a promo, and I found someone actually selling like the full set. I had randomly had just like this one, but I looked into it and found out like, no, there's an actual like full set. So I went ahead and picked that up. So this set, only Fujigaya here is of course a member of Kiss My Foot 2. I have it in the back of this because this is for a drama series that he starred in. It had a lot of other members from the agency in the supporting cast. So I figured I'll just I'll stick it back here because, again, Fujigaya, he was the lead for the drama, so I kind of feel like it falls under like him first before the rest. All right, and after Kiss My Foot 2, we have Timeless. I'm so happy that I finally have this page done. I was able to find the Universal Music cards I needed to finish it off. But these 3 members, they were part of the group before Timeless, or what Timeless became. So pretty happy to have like a page just kind of dedicated to them. My favorite member of the group is Matsushima So. So this is all his photo cards from the time when it was just the 3. And that's because they added members afterwards. I do want to fill this up. I think I want to get like 1 Kikuchi Fuma, 1 Sato Shori, and like 1 of their group cards from this era. I think that would be nice to finish that off. But again, that's another thing that's kind of low on the list because I need to really work on finishing up these, which is they're now an 8-member group. These are actually double-sided with a different member on each side. This is from their first release, which was an album called Fam, and I need to get the rest of the cards for this, especially since they've definitely released other things. I've made at least a little bit of progress, but there needs to be a lot more that I need to be doing here. I do have some more on the way, so that's just something I'll be working on. And hopefully by the end of the year, I'll at least have Fam done, if nothing else. This is an OT8 set that I picked up, and this is from their first single, which was released after a Fam, but the first single as 8 members. I think this is more or less like a promo or pre-order kind of benefit card, and on the back of them it has their little kind of cartoon versions, which match like the plush versions of themselves, since they have like little plush characters. So, which seems to be another popular thing in J-pop. So after Timeless, we do have cards from the group that they used to be, which means we also have Nakajima Kento cards, as he was part of the group when... I don't like saying the name because it's horrible. It's Sexy Zone. It is a terrible, terrible name, especially considering everyone was a minor when they debuted. So yes, horrible, terrible, horrendous name for this group. I'm so glad they've rebranded as Timeless. So glad. But yes, Kento has gone on to become a soloist. I actually really like his solo music. So it's like, yay. I get to enjoy Timeless as, you know, this kind of newish group with like members that I like from the old group. But also Kento, he would be my second favorite if he was still with the group. Well, maybe not second favorite, but he would still be up there with the old group. He would definitely, he's 100% second favorite after So. Very happy with his solo career. I did finish up, because there were like 4 releases that there were like OT4 trading cards, which is of course all pre-order benefits, but you got like all 4 of them, so I was able to hunt them down. So I have those, and these are really old cards. This is like around debut era, so they are babies. They're babies that were given a terrible, terrible, terrible name for their group. Ugh, I could go on. I will not, because yeah, I think it's best to just be forgotten. Not the group itself. The group itself, that's fine. The name for them. Just the name. But yes, so that's a lot of random cards. A lot of these were they're codes that you could use, but they only last for like about a week after release. So if you're overseas, there's like no chance or very little chance you're going to be able to like scan them and actually get whatever benefit or special thing that you get. Usually it's like a link to an image or something. But they would come like in the CDs. So not exactly trading cards, but you know, they fit. So I figure they belong well enough. And not too much in larger inclusions. A lot of them are, again, those like alternative covers for CDs. I did get a full set for FAM. All right, and next group we have is Naniwa Danshi, which I definitely need to do some work with. So early on, they did a lot of these little transparent cards, which are kind of a pain, but you know what? With the white sleeves, they show up well enough, even though they're kind of really small, so they're kind of all over the place. But again, these were all like pretty much pre-order stuff. Then they did these things. They weren't exactly cards. They're kind of like Polaroid things, but they're not actually Polaroids. They're definitely like cardboard. But you know what? They somehow managed to fit these, so in they went. And they do finally have trading cards, but I haven't got around to getting them. I am only really collecting my top 3 Ohashi Kazuya, or Hasun. He is my bias of the group. Onishi Ryusei, second bias, and Takahashi Kyohei would be third, though he's very close with Daigo. But yeah. Yeah, it's just, I was looking at getting some of the trading cards at one point, and some of the prices just kind of scared me off. But I need to go back and see about getting them, especially since they're actually trading cards. Maybe it's cooled down a bit. And it's really only one member. So yeah. Yeah, I definitely need to work on my Naniwa Danshi collection here. And then we have, yes, we do have A group. So I really like band groups, so I was picking up A group for a while. I kind of made it into a spread. I'm really not sure where I am with the group now, since they lost a member, and I don't know, I'm not quite vibing with their music as much as I really hoped I would, so we'll see where that goes. Right now it's kind of on hiatus, but I'm keeping it as it is, and I very much like this spread that I went with. I think that worked out very well, especially since that's like perfect for their OT5 era. And now we have just like a miscellaneous section for groups that have really never done trading cards again. They may have had like a one-off, or I just have things that are kind of like more larger inclusion ish for them. Kanjani 8, back when they were 7. At one time they were 8, but they're not. They're now Super 8, but they only have like 5 members. Don't get caught up on like the numbering for this group. And this is just all miscellaneous. They're just cards that I picked up from just random lots of goods. But since I had them, I went ahead and put them in. Then we have some postcards. Oh my gosh, NEWS. They are like my ultimate group. If they had trading cards, you better believe I would have them. And they would 100% have their own section. Again, more random stuff. Oh, I forgot I had these. These will probably be moving on to another section. You'll see later when I pull it out, but for now, we'll stick to the binders, or at least the photocard binders, because that is another kind of binder. But yeah, these are just like flyers for movies and such that members of various Starto groups, you know, starred in or were a part in. Like for Snow Prince here, that's Morimoto Shintaro, who went on to be a member of Stones, but this was back when he was a tiny, cute little thing. He has grown up so much since then. So much. But that is the Starto binder. It is growing at a very disjointed rate just because, again, for J-pop, there are some groups that are very much like K-pop where you have photo cards for all the releases. In fact, Timeless has become a group like that since they rebranded. But then a lot of groups are like the rest of the groups that I have in here, where maybe they'll have them randomly, or if they do, it'll just be like a pre-order benefit. So yeah, look, it's a lot harder to try to like keep up with what photo cards are getting released for what group, but I do enjoy it. I love collecting photo cards, and I love the fact that there's at least a lot more photo cards out there for these groups. So with that said, let us move back to, or start shifting back to K-pop. There's still some J-pop that we'll be covering, but I think this is like the main chunk of it done. All right, so let's move on to the first just miscellaneous binder. All right, so this is what I consider my first miscellaneous binder. I would like to collage, but I keep needing to shift collections and everything, so maybe one day I'll figure it out. But we start with Busakso. I actually became a fan of Busakso before I became a casual fan of 17. I just really liked the single that they put out as Busakso, and just kind of fell in love with it. So I decided to start collecting them. And I tried to get into 17 beforehand, but just wasn't vibing. But since I loved the Busakso, started listening to like the more recent stuff and realized, oh hey, actually this more recent like 17 releases I actually like. And when I went back, it's like, oh no, there are some songs I actually do like from 17. So yes, I kind of feel like very casual fan of 17, but since I like Busakso so much, from pretty much every release since their Busakso's debut single, I have been getting, and I've been basically just collecting 3 cards for each member, so I can fill out a single page for each release. And sometimes I do like to try to stick with like a set from a certain album, but sometimes it doesn't matter too much to me, and which, you know, you'll see. And of course, for Busakso's second single, I collected most everything. I just don't bother with like the polkas and any other like special editions. I just like to stick with the regular editions. I did hunt down, I think it's the US and Target exclusive cards. I think that's what they were and what this page is. But I figured, you know, that'll be like my limit there. Because again, I'm still mostly casual, even though again I really like Bluesky's music. I also decided that when they started the military era for 17, I was only going to collect cards from releases that had all 3 members. So with Hoshi already in the military and DK and Sungwon have not started, Lord only knows when that's going to be. Have a feeling Hoshi will come out of military service in time for these 2 to go in. Who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get an actual 17 release like before with all 3 of them, before the younger 2 enter. We'll find out. I don't know exactly what 17 is doing with the whole military thing other than seemingly dragging it out. And doing a lot of unit stuff, but the unit stuff is kind of interesting and fun, I will say that. I do have some larger inclusions for mainly Bluesky, but I think I ended up with like a set of all 3 of these, so I figured I'll just go ahead and keep them. Otherwise, you know, yeah, like full group things, sure, I'll keep. If I pull any of the Bluesky members, I will go ahead and keep, but I'm not really hunting down the larger inclusions for them. And then we have my Runjin collection. It's definitely a collection that I have dropped and picked up a few times, actually. I think at this point, it's safe to say that I'm probably going to go ahead and just keep it. Yes. So outside of being like put away in order of release, I don't really have too much order to this. Maybe if I get more of like the early stuff, then I'll go ahead and start doing that, but for now it's just all here. But yes, definitely another collection that I'm just trying to be really lax and chill with, and I've been very happy, you know, doing that and collecting in that way. I think for some collections, just really forcing myself to like collect everything and be on top of everything really just kind of stressed me out too much. So deciding that some of these are just not going to be that they're just going to be really chill and whatever, has helped a lot with actually me like keeping the collections. I do love Runjin from NCT Dream. It's still my favorite unit of NCT. I have whatever platform version that had this OT7 set, so I just kept it, even though sadly Mark is no longer in NCT at all, so he's no longer in NCT Dream. So it's just down to 6 members. but they've had to do that before with marks, so yeah, I have faith in Dream. And then I randomly have this group card, so it gets to live on its own little page. And then larger inclusions, I just have the one for Runjun, but you know, if I get others, I have a spot for him. All right, and then we have Kingdom. I love Kingdom. I really, really do. But I'm so worried about their future and what's going to happen. Maybe someday I will actually make progress on this OT7 little collection that I want to do here. We will find out. I check every once in a while. I still cannot find this Ivan card. I would like to have this Ivan card back, because I was thinking of dropping all of Kingdom. I changed my mind and figured, okay, I'll just keep Ivan. But unfortunately, this card had already sold by then, and I just can't find it again, sadly. I have everything basically up to RIIZE. And then I just lost a lot of motivation to collect for Kingdom. Though I have finally, you know, done some collecting for them. Like I got a couple of the unit cards that I need for RIIZE, and got another non-album card for Ivan because I would like to complete the page. And everything else, I'm just kind of, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, they started off so strong, and their whole when they were focusing on like each member lore wise getting a focus for each release, that was like peak the Kingdom. But yeah, well, Don currently is in the military. No word of whether or not, if any of the other members are going into the military anytime soon, and what the future is going to be for the group. So I'm just going to hang on to everything, and I guess just kind of work with what I have slowly. But yes, really love them. It would be nice if they were able to come back, but we shall see. Then we have Sserafim and collect Sakura, but I did decide that because their debut release, each member only got 4 cards, that I would pick up a second member just so that way I can do like an 8 pattern here. So I decided to pick up Yunjin, and I will be getting the 2 that I'm missing here in my next Neokyo haul. So that page will be done, and then it'll just be Sakura. And yeah, like with the Runjun, this is another collection that I'm just chilling with and taking my time with collecting, even for newer releases. I cannot like push myself to collect for this, or else I know I will just lose the motivation again, and I don't want to do that. I picked it up because I wanted it to be a nice relaxing collection that, you know, I can pick up on my own time. I do have some of her Japanese cards from their Japanese releases. So that gets its own page. Have miscellaneous group and units. And then just miscellaneous cards for her. Because I am just like grabbing sets, and there's a lot of the Sserafim cards that is like, I have no idea what this is a part of. I really don't. But a lot of them are really cute, so I can't complain too much. Oh, and I pulled Yunjin's target card, and I don't know. I still haven't decided whether or not I want to keep it, but for now it'll live here. I did also pull the Sakura. I pulled the Sakura a lot. She like made sure that I got her for the target card. Got like absolutely no other cards for her, but I did get her target card. And then we have some larger inclusions. And I am just trying to stick with Sakura for them. Either that or like a group. And then we have Team. Maki has always been the bias, even from way back then, back when they were doing the audition program. Yes, he's been my favorite since. So these earlier releases, I don't have too much. But is this Yuki Akari? I want to say it is. Well, whatever the case, from this release on, I do have basically everything for him. Back to Life had so many cards compared to what they normally have. But it makes sense since that's the Korean release. But then we have We on Fire, which is like three cards. And I have 2 of them. I should be getting the next one with the next Nyokyo haul, so yay. And then I have a lot of just random Maki cards that I will hold on to because why the hell not? This is actually a collection that started like the Ranjin and the Sakura, where it's like, okay, I'm just not going to worry about it, and I'll just collect as is, but Maki can be a very easy member to collect for. So it took almost no time to mostly catch up. It's like I brought up earlier, it's just those like first 3 releases that are a little harder, but everything else super easy. And for units, I pretty much just keep whatever unit I get. And yet somehow I pulled both these units and they're both Maki. I wasn't even trying. And then we have some larger inclusions. Not a lot, because there just hasn't been a lot in the way of larger inclusions, because that's just not how Japanese releases are. I really hope I can finish, you know, what is it? Is it Me? Yes, we start with Me. I think then it's We and Now. But if I can at least finish Me before the end of the year, I'll be happy. So that is the first miscellaneous binder, as I definitely have a second one. So let's go ahead and get into that. So this is the second miscellaneous binder. And we are starting off with some J-pop. Howl Harmony, they are under LDH, which is the agency that has like Exile, The Rampage, Is it Psychic Fever? I swear I'm always confusing their name with something else. But yes, there's also with Howl Harmony. I love the group. They're all amazing vocalists, and I have a soft spot for like vocal groups. So they're also another group where it's like I have no idea what they're releasing that has a photo card or not. So these are just, for the most part, just kind of random cards that I've picked up. But yes, I'm very glad that I finally have like a set that I can put in here to finish this page. And then we have this page, which is basically where I am putting cards that I haven't quite gotten like all of the cards that I need for it. Like I just had the Roji and the Gi right here, so I need Suzuki and Hiroto. But I think I've more or less locked myself into getting these Neo Exile Special Live 2025 cards. So yes, I just need the other two members, and then I can like fill out a page. That would be great. But of course, if I notice any other like sets I want to collect, I'll pick them up and I'll throw them on the back page until I decide that yes, this is something I'm going to like put everything into. All right, so we have Sohei from RIIZE. He is another one of those kind of really chill collections that I'll get what I get when I get it. So it has slowly been growing. A lot of the growth has basically been coming from Poke Market because a lot of his photo cards there are pretty cheap. So I always make sure to grab some whenever I decide to do a Poke Market haul, which isn't too often, but you know, it's been nice to see this grow a little. So those were all album cards. These are from the Season's Greetings. Then we have some random larger inclusions. More stuff from the Season's Greetings. And then we have Ampers&one. I collect Chiral here. I have a soft spot for Seattleites or people from Seattle, Washington. I used to live in the area, so yes. Chiral is from Seattle. And he's just fun. I am missing 2 cards and then I am done with this. What is it, Loud and Proud? No, Wild and Free. Loud and Proud is the next one. Wild and Free. So yes, get 2 more cards and then I can be done with Wild and Free. I did decide to go ahead and start working on Loud and Proud because I know at least one of the Wild and Free cards is going to be a pain to try to get because I'm just not finding it for sale anywhere. And that is like the worst. I mean, yes, really pricey cards or expensive cards are their own pain, but at least you know they exist and you could maybe finally break down and buy it if you're desperate enough. But for a card that you can't find a listing for, you're just SOL completely. There is no chance for you. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Like I said, working a little bit on Loud and Proud, though of course they do have another release after this that maybe if I get more Loud and Proud, I'll probably go ahead and start working on that. We do have units, which I've gone ahead and just collected a whole bunch because why not? They're pretty easy to find. In fact, one-hearted here. These are the full, like, all the units for it, so pretty happy with having those. But yes, and of course have some like full group cards as well. Then some of the larger inclusions, just basically like full group or Chiral, or if they happen to have like a large inclusion and I pull it, I will have a tendency to keep it. All right, and then we have illit. So when I first started collecting, I was collecting Yuna, since she from the start has been my bias, and Iraha has been the wrecker. She still is, but I don't collect her for everything like I do Yuna anymore, but I did for their debut. And it worked out great because it like fills the page very nicely with collecting both of them. But basically with their comeback, I'll Like You, I kind of felt like it would be messier to collect two members. So I just kind of went down to the one, which of course was Yuna. Well, not completely, because for these sets I did get the Iraha just because it did fill out the page nicely like that. But that's the last time that I collected Iraha outside of like full member things. Going forward, just kind of focusing on Yuna. And you know, if I get anything that's OT5, I'll keep it. And I do collect the units for illit. And I'm so happy I was able to finish Not Cute Anymore just before their next release. These are actually blank up here because I do have them both. I should have this one on the way. I just need to hunt down this. So I'm actually knocking this out really quick. Usually I'm dragging my feet, but this, I'm actually kind of on it, which is really nice. Yeah, I'm just missing one of the units too. So that would be nice to finish off illit really soon. And I have been thinking of maybe collecting their Japanese releases. They only, yeah. And honestly, if I catch up with their Korean releases, that would be the best time to actually look into it. And I did get their light stick, and in their light stick, they do have an OT5 set, which is what this is. And then we have some larger inclusions. And then we have what I consider to be my Yuna cheat page. Since I'm not searching out any pubs or store, well, I can't say I'm not searching out store exclusives. I did search them out because I'm kind of a sucker for them. Like, this is the Target card, and for their latest comeback, I do have like their Target, their Barnes & Noble, the Walmart, but I was able to find them for like prices I'd actually be willing to pay for them, so there is that. But yes, if I get anything that's like a pop or store exclusive, that is the page for that. And then we kind of swing back to some J-pop. For me, I need to work on this a little bit more, especially since I'm not collecting much. I'm just collecting like 3 cards pure release, which for some release, that is basically what there is. I do have the first one. I need another one for Muse. I need 2 more for, what is it? Who Am I? Yes. So yeah, I need to kind of focus a little bit more on MII, but I've just been prioritizing other groups. And I have some random larger inclusions, more or less just kind of stuff that came in the lots that I purchased for the photo cards. Then we have AHOF. I'm so excited that they have their third comeback announced. Though it's like they brought up they were coming back earlier, but they didn't really do the official announcement until it's like 2 weeks before. But whatever, that's fine. I love them. I am very excited for their comeback, especially since they'll be able to come back as 9 again. As they did have a member on hiatus for their first comeback, which is why this is only like 8 members and not the 9 it's supposed to be. And yeah, I had some units, so the units get to live back here on their own page, and as well as larger inclusions. I don't have too much, but that is fine. And the latest group that I'm collecting, Aoen, which is kind of like the brother group to An Team, which of course is the brother group to Enhypen. But from what I understand, lore-wise, Aoen is not connected. Like they've connected An Team and Enhypen. Aoen is just kind of its own thing. They're more J-pop than K-pop, but they are so much fun. But yes, my bias is Sota, but Gaku, I don't understand how anyone could not like Gaku. He is just this ball of sunshine, and yeah. He was like one of those members from An Audition where it's like, I would be perfectly fine if he was chosen for the group, but unfortunately he was not. But that's fine because he's here in Aoen, and I don't know, he just lights everything up with the group. But yes, I tried to collect like everything since they only have 2 physical releases, and I figured, well, then I'll just get all their cards for both of them. I ended up missing one of Sota's. I'm kicking myself for that one. And then when I went to like find it, I could only find it in a lot that has cards for their second release, which was a digital only release, but it had photo cards. But I went ahead and found a set of photo cards for that for Gaku, so there will be like a page added here for that when I get those. But yeah, that'll be 3 cards each and something here. Yay. But yes, this is actually kind of like a mix of their album plus POBs, but it fills out the page nicely, so I'm not gonna complain. Plus, I'm not gonna complain about having more Sota and Gaku. And these are just like extra cards that came with like sets. I wasn't even trying, but apparently I got like matching for all 3 of these, for both of them, or 6 I guess, but they all kind of match. But then I have this random Sota and then a couple of units. And then for, yeah, like one of the sets I got for Sota, it also had some extra like larger inclusion stuff, which is what that all is. And then, not technically a group that I'm collecting, but I did collect these and I needed a place to put them. So these are like the McDonald's K-pop Demon Hunter cards for Huntrix. again, another thing that I feel like I'm more of a casual fan for, unless it comes to like Derpy, which we will be seeing more of him. But yeah, so I just have this kind of like at the end as a finishing kind of section for the binder. So these are more or less kind of my active binders. I do have like a true miscellaneous binder, but I don't think I'll pull that one out. But I do have two other kind of smaller binders that I will be bringing out. So we got two binders. Let me just go through the photo binder. News, like I've mentioned before, massive fan of this group. Have been for a long time, almost 20 years now. So what a lot of J-pop groups do is that they have photos, not photo cards, photos, and it's like this. This is Kato Shigeaki, who is my bias in Muse. And for my birthday, I decided that I was going to like get a whole bunch of his photo cards. So I think everything should be shown or seen. But yes, apparently like the set that I got was like perfect for this photo book because it fills it out. There's a couple of slots that are still open, but most of them have been filled. So yeah, there's one there. I definitely want to get another photo book so then I can get some more photos. I'm not just like Shige, but maybe also Koyama and Masu. I would like some for them too, because I love all three remaining members of this group. And I'm so happy to have these. But yeah, again, photos like this is really the main thing for collectible for at least male idols in Japan. Okay, so it looks like I may only have like that one open page. And if so, then yes, I need another one of these. 100%. And that is fine. I will never regret buying more news. And then, like I said, you're going to see more Derpy because I do have a collection where I'm just collecting this one card. I do like how it is progressing. There's definitely a lot of room to grow in here. But no, since I got some more cards recently, it feels a little bit more full, but again, a lot of pages that still need these to find their way to me. But yes, it is my hope to just fill this. If I do that, then I will be quite happy with this collection. So yeah, that is going to be my mid-year binder tour. I did mention I have another binder. It's very miscellaneous. It's not a lot of K-pop, and I just don't feel like bringing it out. I always bring it out for the end of year stuff though, so if you want to see it, because I don't think it's really changed since then, just look at my last end of year video and you should be able to see it. But again, it is just a lot of random. A lot of the stuff I have in there is just basically based on nostalgia. So yeah, that ends this. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it here to the end, because I know this is going to be a very long video. I can't say I'm too excited about editing it, but let me go ahead and cut myself short here from my usual end of video ramblings, because that's less that I have to worry about. So again, thank you for watching. If you want to make sure you don't miss any videos that I put out, make sure you subscribe, and until next time.
Bye!
뛰는 소리 나나?
좀 더 위로, 좀 더 위로, 좀 더 위로. 그래, 그거야. 야, 아니, 너 잠깐만, 너 그러고 있어봐.